Good morning, everyone. So here we are on a brisk Sunday morning here in North Carolina, about 55 degrees, actually 54. It's dropping. And as you guys probably see, we have something new on the Road Glide, which we'll get to in just a moment. But I noticed that I haven't been posting in a while. I've recorded a lot of stuff and it went through editing and it just didn't come out the way I liked. So hopefully we can get more of that. We're actually going to take a ride this morning and do a quick review on the new handlebars. So these are the KST 12-inch Renegade handlebars. And I did not do a review on how to wire them, but let me tell you, it was a task. There's a ton of videos. KST's actually got one on their website if you want to see kind of how to feed wires through the handlebars. Also, Doc Harley's got some as well, so definitely check them out. But on this today, we're just going to do some riding. It's a little warm in this leather jacket, but I'm sure it won't be warm as we get started. I am actually going to go sit and start the bike so that we can get it up to operating temperature. And we'll get it up to operating temperature and go ride and take it through the twisties and try to enjoy some today. And if you're thinking about going with the 10-inch or 12-inch, I'm about 5'9", 5'10". I actually sit with my arms completely straight. I'm at a 90-degree angle sitting up and with my arms straight out. These, again, are the 12s. If you want something kind of closer to the stock Road Glide height, definitely go with the 10s. They definitely do come down a little lower about where my GoPro mount is right here, and you get a better feel. I like mine rocked up forward, but not so much where I have to lean forward. So I found this setup here, where it's slightly angled, I found it to be the best that works for me. Even though over time, if I was going to go on a long ride, I would probably rock them back just a small degree to give me a little bit more comfortability while riding two up. All right, guys and gals, let's take off on down the road. All right, so if you're returning, thank you very much for your support and patronage. If you're a new visitor here, definitely hit that subscribe button and throw a thumbs up if you like the video. I know the channel has kind of turned in more of a motorcycle vlog, just because, I mean, we ride year-round. Some people choose not to, and some people choose to do so, whatever floats your boat. But this is going to be kind of like a update to the channel and also a quick review on the KST Bars. Now, there's not really much to say about the KST Bars. The interesting thing is I'll load a photo here that you'll see. And it was actually the bars that I bought for the bike. And they were DNA Monster bars, I believe is what they were. And I bought them from a local shop here, which they don't do a lot of work on newer bikes. I mean, I have a lot of businesses around Winston that do customizations on a lot of newer bikes, and some that work on both, and some people will just work on older bikes. And the shop that I bought these from work on a lot of older bikes. Like the newest Road Glide that they had in there was like a 2011. And things change on motorcycles, right? So obviously with hydraulic clutch, doesn't matter if it's, you know, throttle or wire or hydraulic, the same setup kind of applies to a lot of handlebars nowadays. They're kind of making them where they'll interchange pretty freely. But the biggest thing is the hole that are in these, the hole for these bars comes straight out the front, which is where my riser is. So you got to make sure of that. And the hole to the other bars came out the bottom, which on this bike isn't going to work. Obviously you can change the riser out. That's not what I was really after. I didn't want to change that out, but to each is their own. There's a couple things that you have to do. These plates inside have a little point on each of them. Actually, I think it's about right here. And those points, these are just aluminum, so they're very, very soft. And those little posts that stick out from there, they actually go into the stock handlebars. Well, KST gives you the freedom to kind of move these wherever you want, wherever it's comfortable, and adjust them the way that you want, so that if you have a hole in the handlebar, it doesn't really give you a lot of freedom, right? So the stock handlebars also has a hole in the bottom right for a post that sticks up out of the top riser. And again, these handlebars don't have that. So there's a couple things that you have to do whenever you are putting these bars on, especially just about any other aftermarket bars. And I'll kind of go through a couple reasons why I went with KST to begin with. But before I get there, the little notch that sticks up in your riser, you can do a couple things. You can do it the hard way and just remove it and pull it out. From what I've read, it was a whole lot harder to do. I just took a small chisel, laid it on top to flatten it out, and lightly tapped it in until it was flush. And that was all I had to do. But going back to the DNA motoring, what I actually didn't know is that these wires are 1 1/4 inch all the way around, or excuse me, 1 1/2. And so they actually drop down in the center 1/4 of an inch, which was not going to work for me. So I actually had to swap those out. And luckily, believe it or not, one of our local Harley Davidson dealerships that recently moved in the past couple years, they had these bars in stock, one set of 12s, that was it, for $299, and those other ones were $200. So making sure that you get the right part the first time is a pretty big deal, first of all, and then two, making sure you get what you want. And as you guys saw that photo earlier, I was just as happy as can be. I really liked them because they were a little different. I think everybody's kind of got these pointy handlebars anyways, but you know, I think they look cool on the bike. I've grown to like them. And the other ones weren't as tall as these because it didn't have to come up to the point, they just kind of squared off. So there are some differences about them. I had some options between these LA choppers, which rounded out in the bottom, and I really didn't like that. I really like the rigid style, and it was just checking them out. I checked out a company called Dominator, I believe, Dominator Cycles or Dominator Customs, and the more I read about the reviews, because I'd never heard from them. We're on the East Coast, or heard about them, and we're on the East Coast. They're apparently out in either Arizona or Nevada, and I was just reading terrible things from them in the last year. From years back, they had really good reviews, but with recently, apparently people were taking forever to get their orders. If they did get them, they were either wrong and they weren't responding, or they just never got them and the company would never respond. So sorry to have to put that on here, but definitely beware. If you're going to buy from somebody that you're not familiar with their company, do your research. Always do your research. Anywho, I've been wanting to go with KST Bars for a while. They have some really cool adjustable bars now where you can adjust your pullback, which your pullback is how far these come back and forth, you know, towards you. And I believe these are a 6-inch pullback. I could be wrong if KST is watching, but again, these are 12-inch Renegades, and I really like the pullback. They're comfortable. They're not forward all the way, and they're not turned in to where I feel like a T-Rex based on the stock handlebars. And you know, you got other companies from like Bagger Nation, Paul Yaffe, and Monkey Bars and stuff like that, which they've got great bars too, don't get me wrong, and wonderful products. And Paul Yaffe was, you know, an inspiration starting all the way back in the 70s and 80s, even up until now. And people like him and John Shope from de-burred and a ton of other people out there, they're still reinventing parts and going through that to make customization more free to now to fit standards. I don't know if it's supply and demand or the, you know, everything that's still going on in the world, but I thought they were like $250 before. But yeah, they were $299 from a local dealer here. Obviously they got to make their money, and I wanted them that day, so I went and bought them. But you could have saved money going to KST's website. They're always doing great deals. I believe if you sign up for their email, you get a certain percentage off, so that's pretty cool. I'm trying to see if I can get the camera to stop shaking here. But if it's shaking whenever we edit it, I do apologize, because I'm working with a new helmet mount setup. Not really sure how I feel about it yet. I might go back and tweak it again. I just really wanted the mount here so you gotta see everything on the bike versus over to the side. But if we need to go back to a side mount, we definitely can, because that was actually the most stable so far. Viewing and tuning in. If you want to hang out, catch some scenery, I want to have some other parts of the clip through here, definitely stay tuned. On the other video, I've got some things in the works now that everything's kind of calmed down within the world, and shooting ranges have opened again. So definitely check out Locked and Loaded as well. It's going to be in the bio below. And got some new pieces. I've got some expensive pieces, some really very cheap pieces as well, ranging all from way from Taurus to Kimber to Ithaca. And if you want to check that out, definitely click below, and I'll have some videos in the upcoming weeks on those. But again, if you want to stick around and catch some other clips of the video, please do. We'll have some tunes, check out some scenery. So definitely check out, you can go to KST.com and check out your local dealers near you, and you can actually get your hands on some bars before you purchase them, which is really cool. And that way you can get a good feel for it. So I don't really like to call them apes if they're under 14 inches, because you're not really extending higher up unless you're a little shorter than I am. But what have you, they're extended handlebars, 12-inch ape hangers, mini apes as some people call them. But if you're unsure about the 10, 12, 14, or 16, and I think in some models they also make an 8, definitely go check them out, see what your local dealer has, and go from there.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Face on when I chase like that, yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, doing me no cap. I'ma ride or die for my dreams on tap. I'ma fly real high, you ain't see me slack. No, it's not how you fall, it's how you get right back up. That's how you get tough, calluses on my hands so rough. Yeah, I call your bluff, I'm not the one. Mess with me and come out with none, cause I'm so done. You had your fun, and now you're gonna face down the barrel of the gun. Cause I got a full clip, put your name on it. But I'ma let you slide cause you ain't worth it. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on.
What's up, everyone? So you know I couldn't leave you hanging there at the end of the video. I'm actually here back at work, and at the end of that video there, well, kind of slightly at the beginning, you saw that I noticed something wasn't right on the bike. And what had happened was, where the shift lever connects to the spline that goes through the front of the primary cover and the casing, the shift lever had kind of honed out. I guess had gotten loose, and I hadn't checked it in a while, and that's my own fault. But is what it did is it became loose, and it just wore on the inside of not only the shift lever, but also on the back of that spline. So you have a shift lever, you have a spline that runs through, and you have an arm that comes up where your shift leakage runs back. And where that arm was and that spline was running through the bottom of that arm had also honed out. So ironically, I lost all shifting abilities with my foot. I could shift up and down with the rear lever. However, it wasn't ideal, and if I really needed to get into a different gear, it was kind of tough trying to get the linkage back and forth and try and make sure that I could switch gears. So I actually had to ride all the way back home, down back roads, and ended up having to ride home in second gear. Now, this video here was meant to be uploaded a long time ago, and it never got uploaded because the bike having to be repaired. I had to order some parts. It was about like $100, which again, Harley Davidson HD stands for $100, right? So ended up getting a new shifter, a new spline, and a new arm, and ended up putting those on. Didn't want to bore you guys with that stuff because it's kind of tedious to kind of get in there. with the camera, especially with the motorcycle not being on a lift. But it's extremely easy to do. Anybody can do it from their home. Just make sure that you're checking, making sure that the teeth are lined up, because if one part's worn, chances are the connecting part's probably going to be worn. Even if you're unsure that it is, just go ahead and replace it. I mean, if it's 30 bucks, it'll save you a ton of trouble, just like this video here down the road. So we ended up getting that all repaired, and we've been riding still, but as you've seen, the channel's kind of back and forth on a whole mix of things. We just like being, you know, out in the open, out in the outdoors, and enjoying life, whether it's on a motorcycle, on quads, dirt bikes, doesn't matter. Anytime we can be outside, we choose to do so. So definitely stay tuned for some new content. Again, this video is going to probably be released, or most likely be released, after the new channel update. Some things that you guys have already seen. If you haven't visited that video yet, I'll make sure that there is a link up in the video or a link down below in the description, or both. And definitely make sure you check that out. But thank you guys for staying tuned. Everything was good, got home safe, no big deal. And, you know, happy, safe riding. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time.